I tell you now, I had a player, I told Jamie this year who contacted me, who wasn't happy with some of the things I said. And he wanted to meet me, and I told you.
Aye.
Hello?
Scrap.
Yeah.
Big around the corner.
Yeah. No, but he wanted to meet me at the training ground. Well, he did want to, and
Would he have been at Carrington?
Pardon?
Would he have been at Carrington?
Yeah.
We'll get back to Scholes and Carragher in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, Paul Scholes is going to be talking about an incident from this season where an unnamed Manchester United player, current player, offered him out at Carrington because of the criticism he was receiving from the Ginger Maestro himself. And also, he's going to be talking about the infamous video that Roy Keane filmed when he criticised everyone back in 2005 he was, that got Roy Keane the sack from Manchester United. And yeah, well, it's an interesting little clip, actually. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. But the Big D's got some strong opinions about this little clip, so have a look at the clip. Stick around after the clip, because the Big D, as he says, has got some strong opinions about this situation. Here's Scholesy.
You'll just get yourself, you'll trap yourself basically, and you'll just look like a hypocrite.
I think you just have to be honest, don't you?
Exactly.
Going back to your question, I think if you start thinking about what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 days, and I did that, I'd say for the first 5 to 10 games, fucking hell, I've just said something there, or sometimes you don't even know what you've said, and you'll see it again the next day and the next day. I think honesty is just the most important thing. And as I said with my football club, people can see, you know what I mean? Fans are knowledgeable, they know if you're lying or you're trying to bullshit them a little bit. So honesty is the best
You mentioned
policy.
as well, but you spoke about Rio, for example. Would they, if you spoke about an ex-pro or one of your mates, would they call you up and be like, what are you saying that for? Because I know Cristiano got annoyed with Rio, didn't he?
Yeah, I think players can be a little bit touchy these days. I don't know what Jamie was like when he was playing, I don't think it was. Probably weren't as critical, was it?
You and Salah get along.
I think you had a little bit. I tell you now, I had a player. I told Jamie this year who contacted me, who wasn't happy with some of the things I said, and he wanted to meet me, and I told you.
Aye.
Hello?
Scrap.
Yeah.
Big around the corner.
Yeah. No, but he wanted to meet me at the training ground. Well, he did want to, and.
Would he have been at Carrington?
Pardon?
Would he have been at Carrington?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, of course we will, no problem, here's my number. And he never got back to me, but I would have done it. You know, I'm saying things that I believe, and if he wants me to explain what I believe, then it probably wouldn't have been a nice conversation. And I just said, look, if you or anybody else has got a problem, then I'll come and speak to you, no problem. There's my phone number.
Were you surprised Anthony contacted you?
On that Scholesy.
It wasn't him.
Remember Keane's interview for MUTV?
Yeah.
That Fergie kicked off about. How did that go down in the dressing room then? And have you seen it? Because I've wanted to see it all my life.
Yeah, I think the manager did show it us in his office. He was like he is now. No, honestly, he was just being very honest. He was very critical of the performance, and rightly so. We were off on the day, but
4-1.
it's what we had to do. It was in our contract. It was a programme analysing the game, and we all had to do it. We all had to take turns each at doing it. But Roy was Roy. Roy was very honest as he's going to be, and Roy's exactly the same as he is now. He was critical of a few of the players, and the manager didn't like it. The manager didn't accept it. Obviously, we all know what happened afterwards.
How do you think that dressing room would have reacted to kind of now? You've not just got Sky, you've got like CBS, TN, you've got all these different channels now and all these different pundits. You've got Gobshite, How do you think that dressing room would have reacted to it?
We wouldn't have cared, because we didn't really care what people said. But we were winning a lot as well, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So we were probably in a decent situation. It might have been different for Liverpool, it might have been different for other teams who had been there, like your Arsenals and your Liverpools, who were probably under a lot of pressure, Jamie, when he was playing, because they'd come after such a successful team, but we weren't in that position, so we probably didn't get that much criticism. There were criticism at times, don't get me wrong, of course there was, but I think what we say, it shouldn't affect a player. The only people it should affect players is what the manager thinks, really. The manager, his coaching staff, your teammates, whatever's said on TV, really, take it with a pinch of salt. And I'm not sure how many players these days actually watch football anyway and watch what we're saying. Obviously, there was one United player who obviously took a bit of offence to what I said. But, yeah, so what? You just deal with it. And if he needs an explanation, I'm pretty sure Jamie would be the same as well. If somebody wanted an explanation at a meeting, a coffee, a tea, or whatever it was, then I'd be more than happy to give it, and I'm pretty sure you would as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's one player with me, it was Daniel Sturridge. He was still playing at the end with Klopp, and it was funny. You don't believe this, but when I'd stopped playing for a couple of years, Liverpool asked me and Stevie Gerrard to go on an end-of-season game in Australia or something. You wouldn't believe, Liverpool couldn't sell the tickets to fill out the stadium. So they asked me, Stevie and Steve McManaman to sort of play with the team. So we ended up playing, and Daniel, because I sort of said, they need to sell Daniel Sturridge. And he fronted me in the dressing room when we got over there. And you know what? I was a bit like, fair play. Yeah. You know what I mean? Good on you. You know what I mean? But there's nothing worse, I think, if someone backs down. Yeah. I'm a bit like, so I wasn't going to back, not that it was a big argument, but you know, like sometimes, maybe if I was a player or a journalist, I might say something, they back down and go, oh, sorry, I didn't mean, no, but just front it.
You've said it, so back it up, yeah.
I'm a bit like, so I wasn't going to back, not that it was a big argument, but you know, like sometimes, maybe if I was a player or a journalist, I might say something, they back down and go, oh, sorry, I didn't mean, no, but just front it.
You've said it, so back it up, yeah.
But Simon, you got a question?
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, you kind of answered it, but I guess you have, because you both can answer it really interestingly. You were the co-coms when maybe you're sort of firing off from your brain a bit quicker. And obviously in the Punditry, when you're back in the studio, you have time to think about it. Has there ever actually been something when you've thought back and gone, I do regret saying that, I shouldn't have said it, or not necessarily I was wrong, but with the hindsight of, a week, 2 weeks, you actually think today, I do regret saying that and I shouldn't have done it?
You know what, there's probably loads of things really, but yeah, you look back, because as you say, sometimes there isn't that thinking time, might be on cold commentary or something, you go strong on a line, you think, oh, it's out now, you can't take it back.
Leave the football before the football leaves you.
No, you don't regret that.
One,
that's
then,
iconic.
Yeah. I mean,
I regret nearly everything I said.
I mean, it was harsh, that, but I was trying to make the point of that, like, this guy has been, Casemiro's been like, that Madrid team, that Brazil, it's like, oh my God, well, you're used to like Champions League, you're playing in like a mid-table Premier League game and looking almost out of your depth in a mid-table. It's like, that's what it felt like I was watching. You know, we've all seen great sportsmen. And that's why I said it, because the reason I said it is it's always stuck in my own head. It was a quote from a goalkeeper I read in an interview years ago. And it was one of the reasons why people always say to me, oh, you could have played another year. And I always take that as the fact that means I was right to retire.
Right,
you know, because I'd hate that one, especially being what Casemiro was, a whole midfield player, or I was a centre-back. Because I think when you're an attacker, you can come off, you can come on sub, if you don't have a great game. But when you're almost costing your team, they're the positions where you can actually lose you the game. If you're not doing your best at the top end of the pitch, you're not costing your team. You're not winning them the game, but you're not costing them. So that was one that's up there. I'll apologise when I see him.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing. I totally understand the notion of just being honest, giving your opinions, and, freedom of speech and all of that. Absolutely no problem at all. And the Big D is not advocating for anyone necessarily to stop advocating their opinion, right? What does irritate the Big D about these kinds of situations, and the problem with pundits nowadays, is most of them talk nonsense. Paul Scholes himself, I mean, Paul Scholes was a fantastic footballer. He was brilliant, but he failed as a manager. Dramatically failed as a manager. So for him to criticise a player's performance, it's I don't know. I'm going to say it. He shouldn't be doing it. Because he's not qualified to do it, because he's not a successful manager. I mean, he's entitled to do it, and he was a player, fair enough. But, I don't know, he talks nonsense. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, the thing is with Paul Scholes, if I was a player and he was showing me how to do something, that's a different kettle of fish. Fair enough. But on the training pitch, and he's showing me. But if he's giving his opinion about my performance, I'm going to be like, yeah, whatever, Scholesy. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard to take them seriously these days, because you know they're disconnected from the team, and also they're overly critical. You know, they're there because, particularly Roy Keane, for instance, they're there because they are characters and they are famous faces. They're not brilliant analysts. And they kind of know that the bad news, particularly Neville and Keane, they kind of know that bad news gets views. So they're always going to be looking to say something bad. They're not going to look on the positives. So it's almost like their opinions are not well thought through. They're not. They're just a little bit disingenuous, because they're in an echo chamber as well. And I'm sorry, but I can't necessarily say as a YouTuber and as a Man United fan that I've ever heard Paul Scholes say anything where I've thought, that was a very astute point. Never. I've read his book as well. And the thing is, I've read his book, right? Here's the thing with Paul Scholes specifically, right? In his book, he will say he played a game, but he thought he was a bit crap that day. Yet he scored 2 goals and got Man United into the Champions League quarterfinals or something. Do you know what I mean? So he's always playing things down. And the only way these guys will give anyone any credit is if they scored a hat-trick or something, and it's completely obvious that they can't criticise them negatively. Can't criticise them negatively. Does that even make sense? So I'm sorry, but they talk a little bit of nonsense. With Jamie Carragher, though, believe it or not, I couldn't stand Jamie Carragher as a player. Couldn't stand him, but as a pundit, when it comes to Man United, he probably is a bit biased with Liverpool, fair enough. But with Man United, I think he's absolutely spot on. I think there's something inside of him saying, I need to be honest about Manchester United, or else I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered unnecessarily. So I can't be biased. I've just got to tell it as it is. And he's said plenty over the years since he's been a pundit where I've thought, I think he's on the button there. And I agree with most of the things that he says as a Man United fan. So I really like him as a pundit when it comes to talking about Man United. I don't really listen to him when it's about Liverpool, so because he does come across a little bit biased, especially when he says Mo Salah is like one of the best Premier League players of all time, if not the best. It's like, come on, mate. I'd rather have Matt Letizia in my team. Anyway, so yeah, and Roy Keane. I mean, Paul Scholes brought up that incident with Roy Keane. Well, Fergie did the right thing, because, okay, fair enough, you've got to be honest, but there's a way to be honest where, because if you're too honest, it becomes counterproductive. So especially when you're the captain of a football club, right, and you've got young players who idolise you, and you're absolutely slaughtering them in front of people, it's going to crush them. And Alex Ferguson knows this, because he's obviously the greatest manager of all time, and he can't have his young players getting crushed. And those players, I think it was Fletcher, Ferdinand, and Wes Brown maybe, or John O'Shea, they were getting booed by some of the United fans, and you can't have that. I mean, it's just not good. Fair enough, slaughter them privately, fair enough. But I tell you what, Roy Keane, like, the way he... And to be fair, Roy Keane's criticism is completely off the mark. It's like he just wants to have a rant because of whatever mood he's in that particular day sometimes. Like, a few weeks back, famously, he absolutely slaughtered Bruno Fernandes, which was completely off point because Bruno Fernandes is brilliant. He's carrying that United team. We all know that. And also, he used to do that to David De Gea. He used to absolutely slaughter David De Gea to the point where I am convinced that the media jumped on it and that affected Erik ten Hag's decision-making to let him go even though he was the Golden Glove winning goalkeeper in his last season for Man United. And then who do we replace him with? Andre Onana, who's the worst keeper that we've had, like ever, according to Man United, which I probably agree with. So why are we listening to these pundits? So yeah, I mean, they're entertaining. I'll give them that. They're entertaining, and they get us all, and they get clicks, and they get the big D clicks. Fair enough. I can't argue with that. But if I'm a player and Paul Pogba, say, no, I'm not going to use Paul Pogba, no chance. If I'm a young United player, what I'm doing is I'm going to Ruben Amorim and saying to him, right, specifically, what do you need me to do on this pitch, game after game? And he's going to say to me, I want you to hold the ball, I want you to tackle, I want you to pass and get assists. Brilliant. That's very simple. And I'm not going to listen to Roy Keane. I'm not going to listen to Paul Scholes, not unless they come at me politely. And, you know, this instance with Paul Scholes and this guy that rang him up, this current United player, I haven't read anything that suggests who it is necessarily, but I think it was Matthijs de Ligt. Because Matthijs de Ligt is a bit of a warrior, and he does seem a little bit aggy sometimes and competitive, and he is a brilliant player, and he has been one of our better players. And again, Paul Scholes criticised him, saying that he needed to go, which is a boneheaded decision. So if Matthijs de Ligt rang him up and like offered him out, then good for him. I don't know if it was Matthijs de Ligt. I don't know. That's just my guess, because that was the only criticism that he came out with where I just thought, I think he's smoking something there. And so, I mean, it could be someone else. And if Paul Scholes gave him his number, right, and he didn't get back to him, yeah, it's probably because someone calmed him down there. Because if Paul Scholes and Matthijs de Ligt are going to square up against each other or get in the boxing ring in the gym, then I know who my money's on there. But I don't know. It just, the United pros over the years since Fergie retired, they've just been. It's gotten to the point now where they are just, I don't know, caricatures of who they used to be. You know. So anyway, what do you think? Do you like what the pundits say? Do you think they talk sense, or do you think they talk rubbish? Do you agree with me? Do you think they're caricatures? Who do you think it was that offered Paul Scholes out? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.